Hello, welcome to Star Wars Spelt Out. I'm your host, Josh Chapman, and today, fan favourites. We talk fan favourites, we talk returning guests, we talk people that just want to hear from people. A definite fan favourite today, Minnesota's best podcaster, Jess Schroeder. How you going?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you for having me again. And I feel a lot of pressure when you say that. I gotta get those downloads in. Gotta get those downloads.
Oh yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. It's always your friends who bump it up every time you come along. It's not actual people who listen to the show. It's just other people who want to troll you and or just people who are fans of you, I think.
That's true. My coworkers love to troll me with. Did I ever tell you that?
Yeah, weren't they playing it in the office or something? Or?
Yep, I'll be trying to just do my work, mind my own business, and all of a sudden I hear my voice blasting out of their office. Like, shut it off.
Oh, then my voice as well, probably as well.
Yeah.
So how's life? We did do a little quick catch up just before we started recording, but how's life in northern Minnesota going down there? Seems like things aren't too bad.
Things are not too bad coronavirus related yet where I am. We sort of got lucky within myself and my husband. Not a lot changed for us. We both kept having to physically report to work, and so our kids were still having to go to daycare. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of felt like all around us, everyone was getting to stay home and we had to go to work, and which was kind of a bummer, but like we were thankful to have jobs too. So
I've seen pictures of your husband. He could probably just punch coronavirus in the face or something. It would run away, really. He's a big, strong, strapping man, that guy. I don't think he'd be too worried about a virus coming at him.
Yeah, until you get sick.
Yeah, oh, really? He's like, I need a pillow.
He hates it when I joke about the man cold, so.
Oh, right. Well, now it's like you joke about it. He's like, well, it could be coronavirus. You won't be laughing then, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that, you on the safe side of things, but would you have preferred to have stayed home for, been inside, or is it kind of like,
Yeah, I mean, I had a few COVID-related mood swings that my husband took the brunt of, but like one of them, I think the first one was I was feeling really bitter about having to go to work when all my friends were getting to stay home and like posting and talking about all this great,
making bread, watching Netflix.
More like family time, and
right.
All this fun stuff they were doing, like these activities they were coming up with their kids, and like meanwhile I'm having to go to work and send my kids to daycare, and we're putting ourselves at risk.
People are playing your podcast at you, and
yeah. So I felt guilty, because it's sort of increasing the risk by putting my family out there or having to, and then also just bummed to miss out on all that family time everyone was getting. But then the tides kind of started to turn where everyone was getting stir crazy, and I was like, well, I still get to like leave the house every day, so it's I had both sides of it.
We're just hoping we get to stay. We're just talking that where we are, Melbourne, we're the hot spot of the country now. Everywhere else is pretty much completely eradicated, and we've had a little outbreak here. We've had an outbreak here, and they're scrambling to try and keep it under control. So at the moment we're all out and about and things, but we're still working from home as we have been the whole way. But fingers crossed. Now let's talk about the big thing. We were supposed to be seeing each other in about a month and a bit. In about 6 or 7 weeks, we would have been having a beer in the California sun, having a good laugh and talking Star Wars.
Yeah. I haven't really processed all. I think I'm going to it's going to really hit me when those days come. And it's like, I should be getting on a plane like literally right now. And, I'd be with all these awesome people I got to meet right now. And I think that's when it's going to be hard for me. Yeah. So far I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing. That's what I'm trying to say.
You got it.
And so I've just kind of got it in a box, shoved away, trying not to focus on it too much yet, but I know it's going to hit me. And so,
Did it sort of
I
feel
mean,
like, it felt like it was a long time coming, but it didn't make it any easier, did it really?
No, and I don't want to take credit for them finally announcing it, but I was trolling Reed Pop like the weekend before.
I think Eric Struthers said the same thing. So maybe between the two of you, maybe the Blonde Crusaders, you and Eric, got out there and finally broke them.
Yep. And then they finally announced it. And yeah, like everyone else, I was shocked to see it was 2 years out. Which I guess the way things are going in the U.S. right now is probably for the best, because I would like to assume that 2 years were for sure going to be good to go. But, I mean, maybe 1 year would have been a gamble. So that's just 2 years seems like so far away.
I know, it does. Just when I keep looking at the thing going, oh, wow, it's... it doesn't feel that far away, and I'm still waiting to cancel my Airbnb. So it's just sort of sitting there because I've got to wait for them to go, all right, from this date you can cancel it and get your money back. And it's just, I've had my flights cancelled already, and Australia, we're not being let out anyway. So they're even going, will we be let out next year? So I don't want to get to March 2022 or and then not even know if I can get out of the country, but. Yeah, a total bummer. I was really looking forward to it, but it's, I don't know. At least it's... So you're just rolling your ticket over, though?
Yes. And
2 years, do you start thinking, oh, maybe some of the boys will be old enough to go? Or you're like, no, this is my time.
I didn't even think of that.
I've waited a long time.
No,
I can't have the kids reckon it.
No, they troll me all the time with not liking Star Wars, so they don't get to go.
Oh, right. There you go. Really?
Although my 7-year-old, he'll see, like, I'll watch, trailers for the Star Wars Celebration or mashup videos of things that happened at the last one. And he's like, I want to go, please take me. I'm like, you don't even like Star Wars, so get out of here. Like, you have to at least pretend to like Star Wars if you want to go to the Star Wars Celebration.
And you got to like it for like 5 days as well. And you got to like being left alone or put somewhere and while mum goes off and has a good time.
Yeah. 9 probably. He's not going to be old enough to leave
drink
at the hotel room.
I was gonna say, won't be old enough to drink. No. It's the silver lining from that is that we've got a few friends here in Australia who couldn't make it this year, and then we've just gone, well, 2 years is possible. I think it's. So I think I'm going to make it my business to see if I can just get them passes, and so I've got your pass, so you've got it if you want it, and then we can always get rid of it later on if you can't do it. But I think there'll be a lot of people. It seems to be like a lot of people who are giving them up. So it's a lot of money. Yeah, because I looked at when it all went down, the cancellations. I was looking at like the Facebook group and stuff, and there were a lot of people going, I want my money back. I want my money back. But some people don't have jobs anymore, or money's tight. They could probably use that cash. But yeah, what a bummer. I still don't know what they're going to have announce. Did you have any sort of idea of what you thought that they'd be showing? Mandalorian season 2, more Baby Yoda.
I think that one would have been the big one, and then the 40th anniversary panel probably would have been the 2 panels to be at.
Yeah, it kind of feels almost like after you've done one and all your friends are going to be there, you're like, oh, well, panels. If I can go, I can go. Yeah. That's all right. I'll just get to see my friends.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't get to go to the episode 9 panel, so that seemed like that was the big one. So I haven't gotten to, I didn't get and that was my first celebration with Chicago, so I haven't had the experience of being in the room for,
the big thing, sort of.
The big thing, the John Williams behind a curtain reveal thing. Yeah. So it would be nice to have that. Yeah,
it would be nice. Well, we were lucky last time. Like we got all that last time. I think they'll tighten the rules so everybody can't. People like us who got to get into everything. Some people missed out. But how are you feeling? Have you mourned Ben Solo now? Have you buried him happily, or is it still? I think last time we spoke in January, it was all pretty raw still, and you're still sort of processing the movie. Where do you sit now with it? Do you still pop it on every now and then, or you kind of?
No, I don't. It's like kind of alarming to me how easy it was for me just to kind of forget about that movie. I mean, not that, and I wasn't someone who hated it. I am very happy that people well, there are people that, I mean, I know from our group that love it, and I'm happy for them. But for me, it just kind of fell flat, I guess. And I think I only saw it 3 times in the theater, 3 or 4 at most, which is the least I've ever seen a Star Wars movie in theater.
Yeah,
so I mean,
right.
that's pretty telling. Like,
you haven't sort of felt the need to just, put it on Disney Plus and, sit back and...
No, I mean, the part that I get the most excited for is just the Ben Solo part, which is about, 5 minutes long.
Like, I could just skip to that bit, or I could just watch the clip I could watch the little shrug gif on Twitter, and then I'm getting most of the good stuff anyway.
The shrug, that was probably that was the moment of that whole movie for me, was the lightsaber pull back from the lightsaber exchange. That was awesome.
Well, that's sort of like how you feel about the movie as well. It's like, what do you think of Rise of Skywalker? You're like, I got a little Ben Solo shrug. I'll just he summed it up.
Yeah.
Well, there's been these sort of like wacky rumors that have been flying around. Some that seemed less or more likely than others. That sort of, there was one like, oh, Disney's going to reboot all the trilogy and all that sort of kind of stuff, which is just obviously nonsense. But then there was one that was kind of, I only sort of breezed past the Twitter, I didn't go too much details, but it sort of felt more like, oh, it's possible that they were going, oh yeah, they were filming stuff up until November, and the head of Disney wanted Palpatine, and Matt Smith was the villain, but he got written out, and all this stuff got changed, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and I don't know, do you pay much attention to the rumors, or you just sort of like, it's done, like, let it be?
Yeah, unless there's obvious credence to them, no, I don't really pay attention.
It doesn't really change anything. It doesn't change anything anyway. Would it make you feel any better or worse regardless? You're just like, well, I guess that's what
I mean, if it was a rumor that something that I would have really enjoyed, or something I think would have made the movie a lot better, and I heard it was rumored they would have gone that way and then they didn't, that would really bum me out. So maybe it's just better not to know. What could have been.
Like, he shrugs for 20 minutes. Ben Solo at the end. He's just shrugging away for a long time. Look, I don't know. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I'd like for the book, the Warts and All book, to come out. Like, I brought this up at the last episode. Have you watched the Making of Frozen 2 on Disney Plus?
I haven't. I didn't even know. I actually just listened to that episode of yours this morning, and I didn't even know that existed, but it sounds interesting. Yeah,
no, it's very interesting. It's like that's what I want for Rise of Skywalker, like the making of. It's very very Warts and All. Like the Mandalorian one is them sort of sitting around going, oh, we did this great thing, we did this great thing, and the Frozen 2 one's them like sitting in a room going, we might not make this movie, we might not land this could be terrible, like things aren't working, like this bit doesn't work and this song doesn't work, and what are we going to do, and like the real Warts and All, and real, there's a couple of times they're going, we can't have cameras in here for this, we got to have some proper discussions about stuff, and
wow,
yeah, it's quite interesting, and I'm living Frozen. I've got 2 little girls under 5, so Frozen is
they're
where
still
it's
into it, huh? It's going strong.
Oh, well, it's Sloane, who's 18 months, she's just got into it now, and Olive's just about to turn 5, and she's still into it, but Sloane's enthusiasm is dampening Olive's enthusiasm, as in, like, we drove to my parents' house, which is about an hour and a half drive on the weekend, and Olive usually has headphones and she listens to something, but she forgot them, so she just had to listen to what was going on in the car. And Sloane's just going, Anna, 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 Anna. So it's like the Frozen 2 soundtrack's on. Yeah, there's only about 6 songs, so there's just looping over, and Olive's just going like, no more Frozen, I can't take any more Frozen, like I've had enough. I'm like, oh my God, we've finally broken her. Like, but yeah, it's so... she's I don't know if she's slightly aging. I think it's just overkill. Like she's into other stuff as well now. So,
yeah.
But like, that Frozen 2 documentary, I heartily recommend that. It's definitely worth a look.
And it's just like a movie, not a series.
Yeah, it's like a series. It's sort of like 6 or 7 episodes, and they're all about 45 minutes long. Yeah, so it really goes into it. Like it's really sort of we start out about a year before the movie comes out, and they're already going, this bit doesn't work, this song is really, and then they get closer and sort of close to the release, and they're re-recording and redoing things, and they talk to sort of like the lady, I can't remember her name, Jane Lee, and another fellow co-directors, and she's the writer. But then you talk to some of they follow like a lady who's an animator, and they follow a guy who's like and how all the departments all going to work, and then all the stars are in there as well, and yeah, it's good. It's just like, I want that for Star Wars. Like it feels like that like episode 1 documentary. You've seen the episode 1 where it's all, George is just talking, I want this wacky stuff, and they're all going, oh my God, how are we going to do this? George has lost his mind.
I haven't seen it, and when I heard you mention it, is it on Disney Plus?
It might be. I think it's definitely on YouTube.
What is okay?
Called The Beginning. Episode 1, The Beginning.
Called The Beginning?
Yeah, it's and that's, I mean, that is really, really good. And that's the same sort of, like, you've got the camera in the production meetings and things, and George is, they've got like all the shots with all the special effects, and he's going, all right, we want this. Oh, this might be tricky. Oh, I don't know how we're going to do this. This computer, generated character is going to, this is in, 1998 or whatever. And there's just these like ILM guys just standing there going, oh, what is going on? This is a nightmare. There is no way we could do this. But it's just quite fascinating because they get to like, I won't spoil it for you, but near the end of the movie, they're doing they're screening the final film, like near the end. And George is just looking at it going like, oh, like, I think I've gone too far here. Like, I think I've...
Really?
Like, yeah, he's like, I think I may... He's looking at it going like, oh, I don't know. Like, it's quite fascinating. Yeah. I love all that kind of what's and all, making of kind of stuff. But, so how's your Star Wars life going then? Is it just... Are you still getting time to get it in? Is it like, this is your Star Wars life? Is this what I'm like, hey, come on the podcast? You're like, oh, God, I haven't thought about... There's more important things in the world than Star Wars.
So no, I mean, that's a part of it, but I do go through these lulls now, because I feel like we've gotten part of it's we've gotten spoiled, and so I want to be getting these like Star Wars highs all the time now, where like all this exciting news is coming out, when we've gone months and months with nothing besides Celebrations canceled. Well, I guess we got the High Republic stuff, which I'm excited about. But,
as well.
Yeah, that's true. But and then I haven't popped a movie on for a long time. And then I start to question, I'm like, am I a fake fan?
No, you have to get the fake fan t-shirt out.
Yeah, do I even like Star Wars anymore? Like, I honestly start to get nervous. Like, I have all this Star Wars stuff. Like, do I still love Star Wars? And is this
a Rise of Skywalker runoff? Do you think it's a direct relation to being sort of about Rise of Skywalker?
Not
I think it
really,
because really helped. It's just like, well, it's just like you said, life. There's a lot going on at the moment, so
yeah, and that was a part of it too. Is just stuff going on here in America recently. I've been grappling with, and like wanting to use my spare time to kind of like unpack all of that. So I've been setting aside my Star Wars podcast and trying to listen to like Black voices and stuff like that. And so I found some cool new podcasts in that vein. But yeah, I mean, I do like, then I start to like, I miss the sound of the Bad Motivators. I miss Josh. I go to my library. I'm like 5 episodes waiting that I gotta listen to. I'm like, I miss these. I don't want to fall behind.
Something's wrong here. I think Jess isn't listening anymore. Something's going on. No. Like, you'll get to that episode and like, oh, I must have like gone like, oh, maybe she needs her Star Wars chi reignited or something. We better get her back on the podcast, get her thinking about it. But look, it's hard to be up for something all the time, time as well, and especially in the case of like doing the podcast and things, and like the stuff that motivates me. It's like, first it was like, oh, we're gonna get to 100. First you're like, all right, we're gonna get to the movie, we'll get to Rise of Skywalker and Mandalorian. All right, we've got stuff there, and then like, all right, well, we're gonna get towards 100 episodes. Like, we'll get to that, and then it's like, all right, well, we're gonna get towards Celebration, and that's the thing that drives you to get to Celebration. Now you go like, oh, all right, well, there's no movie coming out, there's no Celebration. Like, we've got Mandalorian. So it's like Mandalorian is the sort of thing that you're sort of aiming towards, but it's hard to be up all the time.
It is. I haven't even watched all of Mandalorian Gallery yet, but last night when I told my husband Nate that I was going to be recording with you tonight, he's like, well, we were settling down, every night we don't have anything going on, he gets his beer and his whiskey. I get my sometimes Truly, sometimes water ready, and we settle in for a movie or something on TV after the kids are in bed. And he was like, "So, do you want to watch something Star Wars so that you have something to talk about tomorrow?" I'm like, not really.
I gotta get Nate on. He's more, he's looking out for the show. Really, he's like, "Hey, I can't send you out there with nothing to talk about. I'm gonna get you match fit."
Yeah, so we watched an episode of what we have been watching, which is some reality show on Netflix called Win the Wilderness. It's probably
okay. I haven't seen that one.
It's a bunch of British couples, and they're trying to prove themselves to this couple that has this crazy cabin they built in the middle of nowhere, Alaska. And so they're getting pretty old, and they want to just give their property to someone who deserves it and who's able to put in the work and is willing to put in the work and is going to keep their legacy going.
Oh, yep. So they've got a bunch of whinging poms who can't do anything there to try and prove themselves, is it?
There are some. We're just like, that person would die in Alaska.
Hey, I lived in England for nearly 10 years. Like, I know plenty of people who wouldn't last a day in the woods from Britain.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the same as anyway. Your husband's probably just laughing at these people.
And some of them, yeah. But so we watched that, and then we weren't ready for bed yet. So I'm like, okay, let's watch a Mandalorian gallery. So the one I just watched, or where I'm at, is we watched the technology one. So I learned all about the volume, which was amazing. And we were both of us were really blown away. Like, that's so cool. Like, it reminded me of kind of like being in a planetarium, but but even better.
It's cool, isn't it? Like like Kat, my partner's like, she's not a Star Wars, she, like I said, she watches a bit of Star Wars every now and then, the movies and things. And I've been watching this, and she was sort of just on her phone, but she watched and was like, oh wow, like this is really, she was sort of interested in the tech as well. And we watched I got her to watch the Baby Yoda one as well. I said, no, you'll want to watch this one. I don't think you're up to that yet. But there's like an episode where they talk about like the practical, they go all Baby Yoda and stuff. And she was very into that because it's just Baby Yoda basically. So
yeah,
anything with Baby Yoda. I mean, the cool thing about this volume is that they can pretty much build it anywhere. So they'll probably, all these studios and stuff will all start building them now just so they can, if the world's in lockdown, you can just chuck Ewan McGregor in front of a big screen that looks like a desert and away you go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just so crazy. Like, and so Lucasfilm, right? Is that who came up with it, or was it ILM or
well, it's all the same. So I think Lucasfilm owns ILM still, so I think it's all just the same thing. I think they just it seems to be that they worked. Jon Favreau had sort of done something slightly similar, but then it was like, all right, when you start chucking some Disney money behind it and building this thing and like I think that's definitely where they're going to start going, especially for the TV stuff, where they can just like, I remember seeing the Mandalorian stuff and just thinking how expensive the whole thing must have been, and I'm sure it was expensive, but going, this looks like it's as expensive as like Game of Thrones or something, like the scale of it. So yeah, I like all that, but what do you reckon about Mandalorian season 2? What do you want to see? All these rumors of like all Boba Fett and and Ahsoka and Bo-Katan. Yeah. You down for all that?
I am, but I guess I'm just confused that all of that, if it's all true, that it leaked so easily and early, and why are they? And if it's, I guess I don't have a good handle on what was leaked and what's official, or if any of it's official yet.
I think nothing's official.
Okay, because I just don't understand. Like, why are you letting us find this out now? Like, can you imagine like a live action Ahsoka reveal? Like, they kept that under wraps, like Baby Yoda, and like that would have blown my mind. But now it's like, if it happens, I won't be that surprised. So that's what I'm bummed about. But obviously, I want to see live action Ahsoka. That'd be awesome. I want to see, I guess. So I'm assuming, and I know there's some debate about when at that last episode where the armorer tells him, you got to find his people. So does that mean his species, or does that mean Force users?
Yeah. That's always the thing. Is it the planet of the Yodas, or is it the Jedi? So is it? Yeah.
If it's I guess, I mean, what were there a lot of known Force users at that time, or wasn't Luke meant to be the last one?
Well, that's what kind of makes it. That's the thing. Would you rather see a lot more Planet of the Yodas, or would you rather them like see Luke Skywalker, like youngified Mark Hamill? I mean, I think Hamill's done with Star Wars, but they could certainly paste his face on somebody or do something.
What's that guy, Sebastian? What's that guy?
Oh, they always Sebastian Shaw, or
yeah.
Put him in there. Would you want another Luke Skywalker though? That'd be.
No, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things I didn't think I wanted though, but once I had them, I was like, I'm really glad I have this.
Well, that's the thing. If you'd been asked, would you want a Baby Yoda? You'd be like, "Well, Baby Yoda sounds weird. Like, I don't know whether I'd want a Baby Yoda until you get a Baby Yoda."
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's good to be surprised. I mean, what did you just mentioned like Ahsoka. What did you think of Clone Wars? I think I haven't seen it. You haven't been on since Clone Wars came out.
I haven't, and yes, I have watched them all. So I did do that.
I see as much. You paused for a second. You're like, oh, forgot to watch Clone Wars. Oops.
No, I watched it. It was the last few episodes were incredible. Like the battle or the fight between Ahsoka and Maul was like, I mean, everyone said it better than I could say it on Twitter, but it was like live action scale, beautiful to watch. Yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah, it's sort of. I mean, for me, I've actually been going through, starting rewatching Clone Wars now that I have a lot of time. But every now and then, I'm like, I can just pop it on and watch an episode, doing the chronological order thing. And it was funny because I did it just after watching those. I watched that series and had that amazing finale, and it just looks amazing. And went back all the way back to the start and just went, oh, this looks kind of shitty. Like, it's 2004, CG, computer animated. It's, it's a little bit, it takes a little bit for them to kind of get into their groove and stuff. When you've just gone from this like glorious, it looks as like Pixar did it or something in the other ones. But yeah, look, I thought it was really cool. I'm glad they brought it back. Glad people were happy. I don't know. What would you want to like? If they gave you the keys, Jess, if Kathy Kennedy rang you up and said, all right, we need some more Star Wars stuff, you can do a new thing or you can bring something back. There's no limitation on budget, and even if somebody's dead, it's Disney, we can bring them back from the dead. So whatever you want to do, what would you want to do?
I would, if I were going to bring something back, I think it would be cool to kind of flesh out Leia and Alderaan as like young, growing up, sort of like the book.
Yep.
Leia, Princess of Alderaan, which was one of my favorite canon novels.
Would you be happy with another person playing the younger Leia?
Yeah, I could handle that. The girl from Stranger Things.
Everybody goes to her.
What's her name?
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, Millie Bobby Brown. Something like that. Yeah.
She's getting older though. She's going to age out soon. If they want to do something, they're going to have to. Like, she'll be too old soon. I think she's probably almost the same age as Carrie Fisher was in the original Star Wars. I think Carrie Fisher was sort of 19. That's a good point. But I don't mind if they go younger, but I don't like them sort of overlapping on age. Like Carrie is Leia from that point to that point. It would be weird if you had a different Leia, but maybe.
Maybe one thing that would be probably blow my mind is what if in the Cassian show they go to Alderaan at some point and see the Organas.
Oh yeah, right. That's very good.
Like maybe let's get some more Brea. Like we've got enough Bail.
That's enough Smits. We've had enough Smits. How about someone else? Yeah, that's not a bad point actually. I don't remember the lady who played her. Is she in it? No, she's in it because they give her the baby in Revenge of the Sith, don't they? Like she's definitely there.
Yeah.
Find out what she's up to.
She's probably. I mean, she's
probably
in it, she's probably like such a small amount that you could just find someone that looks like her and people would.
She's probably an Australian actress, I reckon. Just because
really
that was because they shot those ones in Australia. So usually all those minor plots are all filled by you go, oh, that person was from like Home and Away, which is like an Australian soap, or they're in this thing or that thing. I'm just going to put the cast here. I'm going to see if it was. Let's see if I can find the full cast. If I can find, I'm just looking at the cast list, and it's just like all these Australian people in here. There's Jimmy Smits. Tamara Morrison. Was it Breyer, is it?
Yep.
Mon Mothma. There's Genevieve O'Reilly. General Grievous. Not Benet? No. Darth Vader, Jedi Knight. Handmaidens. Darth Vader. Oh, James Earl Voice wasn't even credited for his voice. Senator Barna Brino?
Okay.
No?
I googled Brea Organa actress Rebecca Jackson Mendoza.
Oh.
And she is Australian. You're correct. Oh, she's from Melbourne. There you go.
Hey, maybe we should get her on the show.
Yeah, she's 47.
Oh, so she's still age appropriate. So she must have been, that movie's nearly, 15 years old now. So she must have only been in her late 20s.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
All right, I'm just trying to find her. Sorry. How do you spell Brea? B-R-E-A?
B-R-E-H-A.
E-H-A. All right. I'll have to look her up. Okay. I know that the lady who played the young Aunt Beru, she's Australian, and she knows a friend of mine knows her or knows her sister or something like that. So there's some sort of, very, very slight connection there. I remember when I had my cousin Rhett on, he knows Daisy Ridley's sister because she lives in Melbourne.
Knows her well?
I think they move in social circles, I think. So and I was like, I don't know. I kind of feel like when it comes to like Daisy Ridley and all those people, I think they're just done with Star Wars for a bit. Could you? Yeah. I feel like even if I was in a social setting and for some weird reason Daisy Ridley was there, like I probably wouldn't even bring up Star Wars. Could you imagine just being like, "Hi, I really like. I got a Star Wars podcast. Do you want to come up with Star Wars?"
I would bring up Star Wars. There's no way I couldn't because I just love the character of Rey so much, and I don't know how I could talk to Daisy Ridley and not tell her.
Do you think
how awesome it was?
You just have to wait for her to bring her up. She just like, oh, I remember this. It was almost like when I shot Star Wars. Like, oh, you were in Star Wars. Oh, you were. Oh, I do a Star Wars podcast. She's like, you do a Star Wars podcast, and you didn't know who I was. And I'm like, all right, Daisy Ridley, you figured me out. You tricked me.
Yeah.
Would that be ultimate guest? If I said, Jess, we've got a special guest coming on, and I dialed in and added it was Daisy Ridley, would that be number one, or would you rather, Driver or somebody else?
Mark Hamill would be number one.
Wow. All right. Talk about hard gets.
Yeah. And Daisy Ridley would probably be number two because Oscar Isaac would be too nervous to talk.
Oh, really? You think you just clam up and be struck by the handsomeness, really?
Yes.
You just be like, hello?
Yes.
Like, what's going on?
Absolutely.
Like, is she frozen? I'm like, I don't know. Is the connection frozen? You're just sitting there going, I can't look. It's like when I saw Jessica Alba in person when I was in New York. I couldn't look at her. She was too pretty. I'm like going, that's Jessica Alba. I can't even look at her. She's too pretty. All right. I've got to get out of this store.
Yeah. She's too pretty.
I'm sorry, but Oscar Isaac is not going to be joining us today. Neither is Mark Hamill.
That's okay.
And neither is Daisy Ridley.
I once tweeted, I don't even remember, but something, it was if I could meet two people, or I can't remember. I just know it had something to do with two people that I would just like die to meet. I would be like Catherine Neen meeting Diego Luna. That's Mark Hamill and Barack Obama. I wouldn't even know what to. I'd probably just be speechless. And
that'd be interesting if, for some reason, Barack Obama was doing photos at Star Wars Celebration. He's like, "Oh, I like Star Wars. I just thought I'd come down and that'd be a weird double. Like, oh, I'm going to go get my photo with Mark Hamill, and then I'm going to get one with Barack Obama afterwards. Or maybe at the next celebration, if Hamill's doing photos and Diego is, that you and Catherine can, you can be each other's helper at the other one. Like you'll have to help Catherine get through the photo thing with Diego Luna because she'll freeze up, and then she can take you to meet Mark Hamill, and you can have like a photo buddy.
Yeah, I think that if Mark Hamill is ever at a celebration that I'm at, I will pay whatever exorbitant price it it is to have a photo taken with him. That would be an easy yes.
Yeah.
Yes, take my money.
Take my money. Especially now you've got an extra 2 years to save. You could get like a big jar in your kitchen and it can just be like the Mark Hamill fund, and you could, chuck your spare change in there for 2 years.
And then I've got 2 years to figure out my pithy, witty sentence that I can practice for 2 years and hopefully get out when I meet him.
Until you freeze up and you're just like, I'm your father. And he's just like, oh, brother,
Not another one.
Oh, no. Damn it. I had 2 years. Of this moment and I blew it. Oh, dear. Maybe in the short term we can Photoshop your head into with Mark Hamill or something like that, into a photo just for the time being. I mean, that
my first major celebrity crush. That was like, I mean, the story itself obviously blew me away and just got its hooks in me, but I also, as a 12-year-old gal, had the biggest crush on Luke Skywalker.
That was at the awakening. The awakening of Jess was of 12-year-old Jess.
Yeah.
Of Mark Hamill with his sort of, and he's training on Dagobah and his singlet, jumping around all sweaty or something.
That's obviously the hottest Luke Skywalker. Yeah. Yeah.
There it is. Oh, that's pretty good. I mean, you had a few more options. I mean, we the boys just sort of had Carrie Fisher, and that was certainly, I can't say I had crushes on Star Wars people and things. I mean, by the time the prequels came around, obviously Natalie Portman's, very attractive. You're like, oh, Natalie Portman's very, very cute, but you sort of, it's not quite the same as when you're 12 and you see, Mark Hamill getting his guns out.
So, yeah. And then, so back then I was into the EU and I got AOL, remember those days?
Oh, yeah.
So my screen name was Mara Jess, which was my play off Mara Jade, because
why can't I be the redhead?
Luke and Mara Jade had like their little, I'm like, why can't I be Mara Jade? I'll be Mara Jess. And that was my screen.
Well, Mara Jess, just like Mara Jade, has been resigned to history now anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
You could do that. You could do, like I said, 2 years till Celebration. You could get your cosplay going. You could do your Mara Jade cosplay. Mm-hmm. Get yourself a red curly wig and a lightsaber and all that kind of biz. Were you bitter about the EU when they kind of wiped all that? You're like, doesn't really matter. You sort of
not.
Maybe bitter's not a fair.
Really, I mean, so the two books that I loved the most were actually short story books, compilations of short stories. The Tales from Jabba's Palace and Tales from Mos Eisley Cantina. Did you ever read those?
No, I didn't read those ones. I know of them. But
I love them. So they what I just loved about them is they took every little minor background character in the Mos Eisley Cantina and Jabba's Palace and gave them a backstory.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was 12 or 13 when I read it, so I don't know how well it holds up, but I seem to remember all the backstories being fascinating, and then to go back and watch those scenes and pick out those characters and be like, those are twins and they're assassins and the Rancor Keeper, his story is so sad. So
really?
His Jabba, he obviously loves the Rancor because of how upset he was. And he had this big escape plan. So they were going to escape and he was going to get the Rancor out of there because he hated that he was kind of like a slave to Jabba and just being used as entertainment. And so he was his pet, and he wanted to rescue it. And he had this big elaborate plan of how he was going to get him and the Rancor off of Tatooine. And that night was when the plan went off. And then Luke comes and screws it all up and kills the Rancor.
Was his plan just like Leia's plan to get Han out? He's just going to wait till everyone's asleep, and then was going to open the door. We're all going to sneak out. Him and the Rancor are going to sneak out, and then there's Jabba behind the curtain again. And I
don't remember the details, but I just remember that story making that scene so poignant and sad, and that's what
that close.
To me, those two books are still canon, and all of those little backstories are still legit. If you want to go read them, I say they're canon.
All right. Everything else they can wipe. You can wipe Mara Jade. You can wipe Mara Jess, but you got to keep the Rancor. I saw a photo of the Rancor I guess it must have been the puppet or something, which I never noticed. And he's got an earring. Like the Rancor has like a little earring, which I thought was quite
Really?
cool.
Can you see it in the?
I don't know. No.
That?
There's a. I'll send it to you
Oh,
after
okay.
this. But he's got like he's got a little groovy little earring going on. Like he's just a little bit of stylish. He's like, hey, I might be locked in a dungeon, but it doesn't mean I don't appreciate fashion and looking cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those. Yeah, a lot of people. I can see why people would be upset about losing the EU stuff if they those stories and things. But they kind of seem to be cherry picking all the best bits and putting it in. So until they contradict it, you can just believe that was the Rancor Keeper's plan.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought
and
you just
all those little stories, they don't what's the word I'm looking for? They don't conflict with anything else. So
yeah,
they can stay true.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, after Kathy Kennedy says, "Geez, that young Princess Leia of Alderaan show was great. So you get to do something else now." You're like, right.
Oh, wow.
I get to do the Rancor Keeper. And they're like, really? You're like, yeah. I want to do a 10-part Disney Plus show about the Rancor Keeper. And then it's the tragedy at the end because you get to the last episode and he's just about to make his grand escape and Luke turns
honestly,
up.
I think you're onto something. I think there's a lot of good stuff there that you could make a compelling show.
Yeah. Oh, the Jabba's Palace one. There was a rumor that we're doing a Mos Eisley one, I think, around the time that they were doing Solo. But then after sort of Solo stalled, they got a bit spooked by doing all the sort of the spin-offs and stuff like that, which is a bit of a bummer. So, they've got to make content, though. They've got to fill that Disney Plus with something.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I mean, that's why I'm just so surprised that we haven't gotten, any... I mean, I assume that they must have had some exciting announcements for Celebration, so I wonder when they're going to give us those.
Well, I thought that
nuggets.
Maybe Taika Waititi they would have saved for Celebration. Like, once they announced that Taika Waititi thing, I was like, yeah, Celebration definitely isn't happening. Because if you had that and you could bring him out on stage or whatever, or even video link, and, that would be enough for people to go mental in the room if they're already, like when you're at home and you read it on your phone, you're like, oh, wow, that's great. But if you're in the basketball stadium and it's like the boom, boom Star Wars announcement, they're like Taika Waititi, everyone's like, going crazy. Sometimes it's the context that makes it more exciting because you're at the Star Wars thing and and it just builds up. Yeah. But I mean, we don't even know anything about it, like what it's about or anything. So I don't know.
We don't have any release data information on any of the movies yet, or
no? They said to be sticking to this 2022 movie, which is, obviously the year of Celebration now. But the weird thing is that Celebration in 2022 is going to be the same, pretty much around the same date as it was this year. I mean, maybe a couple of days out because obviously different days of the week. But because the Chicago one came out when the trailer came out, in April. That was when the first trailer came out. I don't in August, and you've got a movie coming out. They'll already have a trailer for that movie by then anyway. They're not sort of dropping all that new stuff. I kind of thought maybe they would go earlier because if it was in a movie year, it didn't matter this year because there was no movie. But I thought maybe they'll go earlier so they do that same. We drop the first trailer, we show the footage. I feel like August would be too late. They would have already dropped something. So I don't know. It might just be like, hey, that's when we can book the room. If we've got to shift everything, we just got to put it in there. And
unless there's a May 2023 movie and we can get that trailer.
Oh God, I didn't even think of that. Potentially, I like Star Wars movies at Christmas though. That's
yeah, me too.
It's good for us. It's summertime, and I mean it's it's just part of the Christmas fabric basically. I'm just sort of hoping we can smoothly, I'm just sort of buckling back around to Celebration, just sort of smoothly get back into that groove and hopefully get the same place we stayed in and all that kind of stuff. And I know you had a bit of trouble with your accommodation and things as well. And hopefully it didn't
so
get
what
burnt
I
too bad. You sort of cancelled the second it was over, didn't you?
I did.
And you messaged me and I said, well, don't cancel it. You're like, I already did it. And I'm like, oh, I felt bad because you'd messaged me in the middle of the night. And as soon as I got up, I saw there was a message because you'd obviously gotten the email. And I was like, oh, don't do it. Just wait and find out what the things are. You're like, oh, it's too late. I've already done it.
Yeah. Well, I messaged my host that same day that I canceled to tell her what happened and why I was canceling and to kind of see if I could maybe get a refund. And she hasn't responded. And my hope is she's waiting to see how far out this
the booking thing goes.
Yeah, will go. And so I'm still holding on to a little hope that if they extend it to those dates, she'll be like, okay, here's your refund. I know you canceled the COVID.
Well, that's what we've been doing. And I messaged the lady. And it's kind of weird because the host get back to me and she's like, oh yeah, could you cancel it? You know, because I want to rebook that spot because they're opposite Disneyland, so they obviously can get, because I think Disneyland is open. So she's like, oh, I want to rebook those dates. But I just said, well, I'm not going to do it until I know I can get my money back. And so you're going to have to wait. Yeah. And then I thought, because they've been kind of start of every month, they've been going, oh, these are the new dates. These are the new dates. And they just did it. I was like, great, well, we'll know. And then they went, oh, it's for the next 2 weeks. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like,
I did the same thing. I'm like, yes, tomorrow, July 1st, we're going to know. And then I was like, July 15th, come on.
Yeah. I'm like, because we're ahead, like the time zone now, July 1st. I'm like, oh, it's going to be like 2 days in America and it's just going to, so that's sort of the last holdout. And, because we had a big group, obviously, so everybody's just kind of like, it'd be good to get that money back. So, but I'd be happy to book the same place again. So but you just can't book that far ahead. So I'm just going, well, I can't reschedule it, but who knows? We'll get there. We'll get back to those sunny days and all that kind of business. And it's just weird that I would have been thinking about merchandise and all this stuff, but like I would have had to have it all done and sorted by now. And
so you obviously didn't pull the trigger on anything yet.
No, well, I waited. Like I thought about it, but by the time we got to March, because I was like, oh well, I'll have to start thinking about stuff in March because it's by the time I do it and design it and people have said that they want the beanies again, but because it's so hot, I'm going, well, I'm going to have to just see exactly how many people want one and I'll do them custom to order. And, I won't just make a bunch and take them because it's just too hard. So I would have had to have started that process and thinking about designs and stuff. And it's just, I went, oh, I'll just wait and see. Like if they turned around tomorrow and said celebrations back on, like if everyone got a vaccine tomorrow and everyone's cured, I'd be like, well, too bad. I can't take anything. It would be too tricky.
I think everyone would understand and be just fine with that.
I think so.
If it meant we could go.
If it meant we could go. I mean, that would be weird if it turned out that they just cured it and then magically everything was back on. But I don't think it would quite work that way. I don't know. No. I guess if it was tomorrow, if they cured it tomorrow and they said COVID is cured, everything's cool, borders are open, everything you could go, and they're like, hey, celebration's back on if you want to go. I don't know what I think about it. 6-7 weeks is doable.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I was telling my friends before they canceled, I was talking about, we're waiting to find out about Star Wars Celebration. I mean, we're all kind of assuming that it's not happening, but for sure, if it is happening, the Australians can't go. And if the Australians can't go, like, is it even worth going? Is it even worth going?
Yeah, well, it's good to know. It's good to know that we've got that where people would miss us. But that would have been doubly hard if they plowed ahead and we couldn't go and everybody. I mean, depending how bad it was, like I think if things were still pretty bad and they put it on and people were just sort of there with their face masks on all bunched together, we'd probably like, oh, it was, probably the best thing to stay where we are. But if it seemed like that it wasn't so bad and it was everybody was there and we just couldn't get out and we're just like got our faces up against the glass, just peeking in going, oh, it would have been nice to go. But I think this is the best result, as sad as it is, unfortunately.
Yeah. It'll all work out, probably.
Yeah. Hopefully in 2022 there will be a bit more podcasting in between now and then. Right, well, we're rolling around the home corner here, Jess. We're just about to run into the home stretches as always. So movie wise, what do you want to see movie wise? Have you got any sort of like episode 10? Do you want to see the further adventures of Rey Skywalker, or are you just like, I want to go back, I want to go forward, I want to go up, I want to go down, I want to be surprised, just give me whatever?
I would always be happy for more Rey, but what I was excited about with the New Republic release is I feel like they're setting the groundwork for like the new Skywalker saga, and not saying that it's going to be like family centric around a certain family name or anything similar, but like they're starting to create a new backdrop for a time period that we're going to get like a bunch of movies out of.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
And so obviously I assume that we'll be getting movies in that era. And I mean, I'm excited about that. Like, I think that there's a lot you can mine there, and that, I mean, it's pretty much for the most part, almost a blank canvas. And I mean, the directors they've been choosing so far have been, I mean, for the future, like Taika Waititi.
Mm-hmm.
I'm blanking on.
I think he's the only one who still has a job, actually. I think they sacked the other guys.
Is Ryan Johnson? Ryan Johnson's still.
Yeah, he's still around. Yeah,
maybe.
He's in the mix. I think they're. Yeah, I mean, it's just all rumors. Every time he gets asked, he's like, "Oh, yeah, I want to do it. I'll get to it." You know, I think it's just. I don't think he's in any mad rush. I think, but yeah,
I'd be excited for anything Ryan Johnson put out, Taika Waititi. If they're in that sandbox of the High Republic, I think it would be amazing. And yeah, I'm excited to see what they do next. I'm sure it's hard to envision, you know, a Star Wars movie without the characters and the
connections and stuff.
The connections, the tropes, just all of the Easter eggs that we have come to love for so long, and to think of movies that would take place in a time where we might. I mean, I'm sure they'll find some connectivity.
Yeah, they won't be able to help themselves.
Lightsabers, like that's how. Yeah, they won't be able to help themselves. But just how different it'll be. It's hard to imagine loving movies that would be so far removed and different from, you know, what we have now. But that's how I felt about the sequel trilogy. Like, I didn't even see The Force Awakens until it had been in theaters for 2 weeks because I wasn't that excited about it. I was nervous. I thought, like, because I didn't love the prequels, and I was just like, I can't be let down like that again. I don't want to get my hopes up.
I don't want to be heartbroken one more time.
Yeah, and I was like, I know that the Luke, Han, and Leia are in it, but it was so hard for me to wrap my head around what it would be like. But my brother was like, you've got to go see this movie. It's incredible. So, I mean, I was always going to see it, but I finally was like, okay, I'm going. And it just, like, it was like an awakening. Like, my whole, like, my fandom had been hibernating, and it, like, woke up in, like, 2 hours. And I was just, like, at home, like, well, I gotta find Star Wars podcasts to listen to. I gotta get back into this. Like, I loved it so much, and so I'm hoping that I would have that same feeling for these new movies in this new era. So
did you sort of?
I know it's possible now. So
did you sort of kick yourself, going, "Oh, I can't believe I waited 2 weeks after, like, I should have known," or you just like, I'm glad I waited, and was so, like, you just had low expectations and not quite sure what to expect? Like, did you even watch the trailers and things? They're just like, oh,
yeah,
well.
I did.
You're kind of like, I don't know.
I was like, who are these people? I don't know who these people are. Like, I don't care about them yet. And it was hard for me to imagine that I could care about them as much as I do now. And well, I know that the night that it came out, we actually had a wedding. So I remember thinking while we were at the wedding, although I'm sure it was out. It's, you know, the release date, but in America, it's always the day before.
Yeah.
The official release date. But so we were at a wedding the Friday night of the official release date. And I remember being at the wedding thinking, like, oh, there's a new Star Wars movie out. That new Star Wars movie came out today. Like, and I did feel like, I should, like, if I'm considering myself this huge Star Wars fan, shouldn't I be there? But I couldn't because we were at a wedding. And then, I don't know, it just kind of wasn't a priority because I didn't have any Star Wars
it all been sort
connections at that time. I had sort of all just fallen asleep, and it wasn't until after I saw The Force Awakens and was really back into the fandom that I realized, like, oh, there might be Star Wars podcasts out there. Like, there's podcasts for everything. And then I tried a couple on, and I finally landed on Steel Wars, and through that, like, found everybody else. And here we are.
Here we are. You just guesting on Star Wars podcasts, bringing back the awake. Well, it's a good thing also that, you know, like you're sort of saying, oh, things are dormant again, or not dormant, you know, like I just haven't had time for Star Wars. It hasn't quite been a priority, and it's sort of there, but, you know, whatever. But the potential that if the right thing just hits at the right time, it's like, bang, I'm back. You know, here I am, like I'm right into this thing again, which is good, because it's, you don't want the last, if the last one kind of left you somewhat cold, or just not as enthusiastic, or just like, oh look, I've been focused on this thing for so long, I've got to take a step back and think about other stuff and whatever. But like knowing that when the lights go down and the music kicks in and the characters grab you and stuff, you're just like, all right, I'm back. Yep. Let's do this thing. Get me back on those podcasts. Well, Minnesota's best podcaster has lived up to the hype again, as always. There's never any doubt, really. Where can everybody find you online, Jess, if they want to follow your Twitter going-ons?
Twitter, I am at Darth_Schroeder. Schroeder, but spelled Schroeder, so SCHROEDER. And you can find me occasionally tweeting about Star Wars when I
feel like it.
And then tweeting about a lot of other stuff when I don't. So sorry.
Excellent. Well, it's an absolute bummer that we can't hang out in a couple of weeks. It's devastating for us down here in Australia, obviously, but we'll all be in touch and we'll keep the fire going until we're all hanging out. And that 2022 is just going to feel that little bit more sweet, I think.
Yes, we're going to have to work hard to keep the flame going, but we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Stick together.
Keep the fire.
Hang in there. 2 years. We can do it.
Oh, my God. Thanks, everyone. You can go to StarWarsSpelledOut.com to find all our stuff on there. Buy yourself a Obi-Wan Viking shirt. Football.
Yeah.
Is football coming back? I don't know. When does your football come back? It's like later in the year, isn't it? October?
Usually September, but I don't know if it's happening. So.
Our football's back at the moment, but all the teams have just left the state and they're all playing somewhere else where it's safe. But that's another story. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jess.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. See you soon.
Yeah.